Thank you so much, Natalie. I'll put my notebook here. I really like your new, the abbreviation, the words for Tea Party, truth, education, and action. I really like that because that is the way I try to approach things. You know, what is the truth? And I have to educate myself to learn what the truth is, and then action. As Jim mentioned a minute ago, I did pre-file a bill today that I've been working quite a while on to reorganize the Joint Transportation Committee. I'll just tell you what the truth is. The truth is the Joint Transportation Committee hadn't met in 3 years. So I, as a legislator, when I found that out, I'm looking, I can point my finger at the DOT all I want to, but I have 3 pointing right back at me. We as the legislature have failed to do our job. My bill will hopefully fix that. Good Southern talk, fix it. We're going to fix it. Here's what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to remove the power of the chairman to call the meeting. If the chairman's calls are answered and he gets what he wants, then he just doesn't call a meeting. Well, we're going to have meetings the fourth Wednesday of January, April, July, and October at 1:30 at the State House from now on. We don't have to worry about, thank you. We don't have to worry about whose schedule and do it. That's what we're going to do. The second part of it is, if you're on this committee and you miss, and this is a little bit of a low bar, but I think it's reasonable. If you miss 2 meetings out of the 4, then you have forfeited your position on this committee. If you're not serious about it, we don't want you on it. So I won't go through all the details of the bill, but there are things like that. It really is an accountability measure for the legislature as much as it is for the DOT. Because if we're not doing our job, then we are not taking care of the oversight for the DOT. Let me talk a little bit about the diversion, because that's a big issue. In 1952, we as citizens of Alabama voted for a constitutional amendment to allow fuel tax, gas taxes, to be used for state troopers and for the courts. And I can read you the specific language if it says that it's allowed for the cost of traffic regulation and the expense of enforcing state traffic and motor vehicle laws. We can like that or not, but that is the Constitution. It's not, we can't go change that. Now, we could end that money being taken out of the Transportation Department, because we do that in our budget. But there is constitutional authority to do that. So we have to understand that. Number 2, we have to understand what it's being used for. Do we have enough state troopers on the road? No, we don't. People are dying today because of the speeds on the interstate. We are not able to enforce our speed limit law with a small amount of state troopers that we have. That money is used for state troopers. It's also used in the courts to enforce traffic regulations, traffic citations, that sort of thing. So we can talk about ending it. I'm okay with ending it. I think we could phase it out over a period of 10 years, $6 million per year. We can do something like that because it is an issue. But we do need to know that there is constitutional authority that we as citizens voted on for that. The growth or the $40 million in Medicaid, all the newspapers reported this incorrectly. It was not $40 million reduction in Medicaid. The request in Medicaid was for $90 million more than last year. They carried over $130 million. So the net is $40 million less. That is not a $40 million reduction in their budget. It's actually a $90 million increase. All the news media got that wrong, but it's plain on the paper that they gave us. So those are some of the things, and I've got 1 minute of time left. I do have two things that I want to leave with you tonight. One is an outline of the Joint Transportation Committee. It tells you, it's 2 pages of what the plan is about. The other one is budget reform that I've been fortunate to co-chair. I'm going to leave you with one statistic. In 2011, the state taxes that we paid were right at 6.5% per capita. Right now, the state taxes we pay are 4.5% per capita. Alabama state taxes. That's approaching a 30% reduction in the tax burden on Alabamians. That's what we as Republicans have done in Montgomery since the swap over in 2010. Those are the facts. Those are the truth. And we will be updating that one. That one is 2 years ago, and the number was 5%, and it's down to 4.5% from there. So I'll stop there because I'm out of time, and I'll leave these with you all.